Chosen one, take a moment to let these words resonate deep within your spirit. Right here, right now, something extraordinary is about to unfold in your life. All the years you've spent working, striving, and wondering if there's a greater destiny waiting beyond the daily grind, every bit of it has led you to this exact point in time. If you are hearing this message, it is not by accident. You have been guided here, drawn by a force greater than any human plan, because there is a revelation that your soul has been longing to receive. From this moment on, you will no longer be bound by the expectations of a 9-to-5 or the heavy burden of a job that drains your energy and dims your passion. Instead, you are stepping into a season of divine provision, one where the gifts and talents within you will blossom into something far beyond a paycheck. You will rise up in ways you never thought possible. You will see doors open that you never knew existed. This isn't a fantasy or a fleeting hope. It's a shift in the very fabric of your reality. How many times have you dreamed of waking up without the constant worry of having to clock in, hustling from dawn to dusk just to pay the bills? How often have you felt that stirring in your heart, the quiet voice telling you there has to be something more, something far greater than living from one paycheck to the next? That voice is real. It is the whisper of a destiny that has been placed upon you from the moment you were born. It is the echo of the divine calling you forward, reminding you that you are not meant to settle for a life of ordinary routines. The word reminds us in Deuteronomy 28:12 that the Lord will open unto you his good treasure, blessing the work of your hands so abundantly that you will lend to many nations and not borrow. This promise is not reserved for someone else. It has your name written on it. You may have spent years believing that prosperity was for others, that you had to toil endlessly just to survive. But the truth is, God has placed a seed of greatness in you that no circumstance, no employer, no economic downturn can ever take away. The time has come for that seed to sprout, thrive, and bear fruit beyond your wildest dreams. Feel the atmosphere around you begin to shift, as though all the forces of heaven are leaning in, waiting to see if you will embrace this next chapter. You are standing at the threshold of a future, so radiant that the struggles of your past will seem like a distant memory. Yet this transformation is not something you must chase. It is something you must allow. You do not have to hustle harder, nor do you have to convince anyone else of your worth. It has already been established. Your role is to be receptive, to open your heart and say, "Yes, I am ready." Right now, I invite you to take a step of faith. In the comments below, type the number 777 as your bold declaration. By typing 777, you are telling the universe, you are telling your own heart, and you are telling the Lord above that you are claiming this promise for yourself. This simple act of faith might seem small, but it carries monumental significance. It symbolizes your readiness to let go of the old and welcome the new. It represents your willingness to stand in alignment with a destiny that frees you from the constraints of a mere job. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because messages like this are not random. Each one carries a divine spark meant to activate the gifts within you and lead you into greater revelation. Stay with me, chosen one, because in the coming moments, we are going to uncover the reasons why this transition from job dependence to divine provision is not only possible, but inevitable for you. Imagine for a moment the day you realized you were capable of more than the routine that life handed you. Think back to the moment a flicker of hope rose up inside, telling you there must be a calling, a purpose, a path that honors the potential you know you have. Perhaps you dismissed it, feeling the weight of responsibilities urging you to be practical. Perhaps you tried to follow that hint of destiny, but got discouraged when obstacles arose. Today, all of that changes. The obstacles you faced were not signs of denial, they were tests of preparation. Each challenge was polishing you, refining your character, and sharpening the hidden talents you've only just begun to tap into. There is a story in Scripture about Elijah and the widow at Zarephath. She believed she was at the end of her resources, preparing her final meal in a time of drought. But then Elijah spoke a word, and as she obeyed in faith, her meager supply of flour and oil miraculously multiplied, sustaining her and her household throughout the famine. In the same way, you may feel like you've been scraping by, holding on to the last bit of hope you have. But as you align yourself with this divine principle of faith and obedience, you will find that what once seemed small will continue to replenish itself in a supernatural way. Instead of expending your energy just to survive, you will begin to flourish, stepping away from the mindset of a job as your only source of security. No longer will you introduce yourself by the title of a position that constrains your creativity. No longer will your value be determined by a paycheck. Instead, you will become the architect of your own life, driven by passion, guided by purpose, and fueled by faith. Doors of opportunity that were once invisible will start appearing in front of you. Relationships, connections, and resources will begin to flow. And the most beautiful part is that you won't need to beg or scramble for them. They will be drawn to you because you have shifted into a higher plane of possibility. This new season is not just about financial gain, though you will see an overflow in that area. It is about liberation. It is the freedom to wake up and decide how to spend your day according to the gifts and passions burning in your heart. It is the freedom to use your time for creativity, for building something meaningful, for nurturing your relationships, and for serving a cause greater than yourself. The cycle of simply trading your hours for a wage is being broken. You are entering a place where your very presence and the expertise you have cultivated will open unprecedented doors. Some of you have dreamt of starting your own business, becoming an entrepreneur, or developing a creative endeavor. Others feel called to ministry or to philanthropic projects that inspire and uplift. Still others have gifts in the arts, in speaking, or in leadership, but you've hesitated because it never seemed feasible to do it full time. Let me tell you this. If it is a genuine calling placed in your heart, the provision is already lined up. You were not given a dream just to see it fade away under the weight of practicality. You were given a dream because it points the way to your destiny, to the place where your skills align with the world's deep need. And if you're wondering whether this is really for you, consider this. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. Proverbs 10:22. This doesn't mean you won't work. It means the nature of your work shifts from struggle to fulfillment. The energy you pour into your calling will feel natural, even exhilarating, because it resonates with who you truly are. When you invest your time and energy into your God-given purpose, doors open that your job title could never unlock. It's possible that you've been surrounded by voices telling you to be more realistic, to stay in your comfort zone, or to count your blessings if you have a job at all. While it's wise to appreciate what you have, it's also wise to discern when God is nudging you to reach for something greater. Comfort zones can become cages if you remain in them for too long, but stepping out in faith is where miracles happen. Like Peter stepping out of the boat to walk on water, logic said it was impossible, but faith said otherwise. Today, your faith is being called upon to step away from the boat of Job dependency and walk upon the waters of divine destiny. Feel your heart beating a little faster at that possibility. Sense your spirit rising in hopeful anticipation. That is the divine spark igniting within you. You are not here merely to pay bills until you die. You are here to live, to flourish, to create, to expand, and to honor the masterpiece God has designed you to be. Yes, there will be moments of challenge, moments where you might falter, but you will find yourself held by a force that cannot fail. The same power that parted the Red Sea, The same power that fed the multitudes with 5 loaves and 2 fish is alive and active in your life today. This message may feel overwhelming, but do not let doubt creep in. Instead, release your fears, your worries, and your limitations. Lift them up and say, I surrender these old beliefs that I must rely on a job for security. I trust in a higher plan for my life. In doing so, you make room for a new framework of thought, one that acknowledges God, the universe, or however you name the source of creation, as the ultimate provider. Let me remind you, the next step is yours to take. Type 777 in the comments below as a decisive act of faith. By doing so, you are declaring that you welcome this shift and are ready to move forward. You might be surprised at how quickly the atmosphere begins to change. You will find that your mindset shifts. Inspiration will strike, leading you to take practical steps, maybe starting a side project, reaching out to a mentor, or putting a plan on paper that has been brewing in your mind for years. Remember, the world's economy is not the limit for you. God's economy has no shortage. The job market's fluctuations do not dictate whether you can fulfill your purpose. Because the one who holds your future is not a human resource department, it is the creator of all things. If he wants to elevate you, no position, no company, no recession can block you. And once he sets your feet on this path, you won't need a conventional job to confirm your success. Your worth was never defined by your resume. It is defined by your identity as a chosen one. Elisha once spoke a word to a widow heavily in debt, telling her to collect empty vessels from her neighbors and pour out what little oil she had left. As she poured, the oil never ran dry until every vessel was filled. What does this mean for you? It means there is a resource within you that will keep flowing as you act in obedience. You may think you have just enough talent, experience, or finances to get by, but if you step out in faith, you will discover an endless supply. This is how you will transition from job reliance to purpose-driven prosperity. Keep your mind alert for divine instructions. They might come through a sermon, a friend's advice, or a sudden insight during quiet time. When you sense that prompting, don't brush it aside. That could be your next move toward complete liberation from the traditional concept of a job, because once you step into your calling becomes your life, and your life becomes a testimony of miraculous provision. Picture yourself 6 months or a year from now, no longer tied down by the endless cycle of clocking in. Instead, you are living each day intentionally. Whether you are building your own business, leading a community, or transforming your hobby into a thriving career, you will be sustained by the knowledge that this is what you were created to do. The time you spend laboring will not be draining. It will be life-giving. The income that comes in will not be meager, it will be plentiful. Why? Because you've shifted from relying on human structures to relying on divine orchestration. And yes, there will be people who question your path. They might say you're being reckless, naive, or unrealistic. That is okay. The call placed upon you is not something that everyone can comprehend. Your blueprint for life is unique, carefully drafted by a hand that sees far beyond human limitations. When doubts arise, remind yourself that every hero in Scripture faced naysayers. Remember Noah building an ark on dry land, David standing before Goliath with only a sling, or Esther approaching the king without being summoned. They each had a moment of stepping out against the odds, trusting in a higher plan, and history proved them right. Chosen one, your moment is now. The illusions about needing a job just to survive are dissolving. In their place stands a robust knowledge that your gifts, combined with faith, will open doors of opportunity. If you're still hesitating, let your heart guide you. It knows the truth. You have been set apart for something far greater than you ever realized. Embrace the calling, allow the flow of divine provision to meet you at every turn, And as you do, watch how quickly the ground shifts under your feet, propelling you toward a future where worry about money becomes a thing of the past. You may be asking, what about the practical details? How will this actually happen? Here is the simple yet profound answer: trust and take the next step. You don't need the entire map to move forward. You only need enough light to see your immediate path. As you continue walking, more light will be given. The resources will appear at the exact moment you need them. The mentors, the supporters, the clients, or the tribe that resonates with your message will gather around you. And with each step, you will gain momentum, confidence, and clarity. Too often, people wait for perfect conditions before they make a move. But perfect conditions are an illusion. Even the greatest pioneers of faith and business stepped out when it was uncertain. Their boldness sparked miracles. So, maybe you start small. Turn that passion project into a side business. Maybe you talk to someone who has walked a similar path. Maybe you research methods to monetize the skills you've been taking for granted. Whatever you do, do it with expectancy. Because you are not stepping out alone, you have a promise that the divine hand is guiding you. The most important resource you have is not money, nor is it connections. It is unshakable belief in your calling. Many people have resources but lack faith, and they never move forward. You have faith, or at least a stirring of it, and that can unlock more resources than you ever thought possible. If you still need a sign, let this message be it. Let this be your confirmation, the final push you needed to know that you are on the verge of something. Let your mind wander to a life where you wake up excited about what you do, where finances flow in ways that feel natural, where your schedule is your own, and you are free to create, inspire, and explore. Feel that sense of liberation. Hear the quiet echo that says, yes, this is how it was always meant to be. That is your reality calling out to you. Do not push it away. Embrace it, celebrate it, and know that it belongs to you. Right now, I want you to breathe in deeply. Inhale possibility, exhale doubt. Inhale faith, exhale fear. Inhale gratitude, exhale every lie that told you you would never succeed without a conventional job. Because from now on, that mindset is behind you. You are stepping into a realm where provision comes from the highest source, and your obedience and courage are the vessels through which that provision flows. And remember, in this journey, you are not alone. Countless others have awakened to the realization that their purpose extends beyond a typical career path. Many have stepped out, often in seasons of uncertainty, and discovered a grace that carried them further than they ever imagined. You are now joining their ranks. You are a part of a movement, a generation rising up to claim the fullness of their destiny. Each time you waver, recall the story of how God sustained his children in the desert, feeding them manna from heaven. He has not changed. He is still the same provider. Let the excitement rise in your chest, because every day from this point forward is an unfolding of that promise. You might start seeing small changes first: a new contact, an unexpected financial blessing, or a revelation about how to pivot in your endeavors. Or it could be a sudden, dramatic shift where everything clicks into place. Either way, it's not luck, it's alignment. It's the convergence of your faith, your identity as a chosen one, and God's unending supply. Once again, do not forget to type 777 in the comments. Stand in solidarity with others who are making the same declaration. Share this video with those you know are also longing for freedom from the grind of an unfulfilling job. Because as you spread this message, you become a catalyst for change, not just in your own life, but in the lives of everyone open to receiving it. Oh, chosen one, how liberating it is to realize that the job you once depended on is no longer your source. Your true source is infinite, boundless, and overflowing. Walk in this truth and watch as your days become filled with hope, purpose, and miracles. Every single day from now on, remind yourself, I am free from the old mindset. I am stepping into my divine assignment. Repeat it until every fiber of your being accepts it, until your thoughts, words, and actions align with the reality of living without the chains of mere employment. People might ask you, but isn't a job necessary for stability? And you will calmly reply that your stability comes from the one who never fails. Your path may include business ventures, creative pursuits, or multiple streams of income, but it will not include the oppressive feeling of being tied to a paycheck that barely covers your needs. Instead, your gifts will generate far beyond what you even think you need, enabling you to bless those around you. Now, beloved, as you continue to absorb this message, you may begin to feel the weight of your old worries melt away. That is the power of divine truth. When it enters your heart, there is no room left for the burden of limitation. You are stepping into a brand new day, one illuminated by the light of possibility. The chains of fear break off, and your spirit stands tall, ready to conquer the mountains that once seemed insurmountable. You may feel tears welling up, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming sense of destiny that resonates in your soul. This is your confirmation, the green light that says, "Go forth and claim what has always been yours." Yes, chosen one, from now on, you won't need a job ever again. Not because you won't do meaningful work, but because you will no longer be confined to work that drains your spirit. You will engage in a labor of love, a pursuit of purpose, a mission that fills your days with exhilaration and your nights with restful peace. This is the promise that stands before you, radiant and unwavering. Pause for a moment, let your heartbeat settle into a calm rhythm, and imagine the Father's smile upon you. Feel that gentle reassurance that no matter how big your dreams, they are still small in comparison to His ability. Every door that needs to open will open. Every resource required will be provided. Everything that has been locked up or delayed in your life is about to break free. Hope will no longer be a distant dream, it will be the air you breathe. You have just crossed the threshold of a new understanding. From this point forward, you will not be defined by the constraints of a traditional job. But how do you walk out this truth in your daily life? How do you move from merely hoping for a miracle to living in the miracle itself? Take a moment, breathe in deeply, and prepare your heart, for the answers are already stirring within you. The first step is to cultivate unwavering belief in your own possibility. You might have been told to be realistic, to accept how things are, or to take whatever job you can get. And while there is wisdom in being prudent, do not allow prudence to mutate into limitation. The faith that moves mountains begins as a single, unshakable conviction that your life was meant to flourish in supernatural ways. When you hold that conviction and guard it fiercely from negativity, you'll witness doors swinging open in the most unexpected places. Because faith, dear chosen one, is not a dormant concept. It's a force that makes the impossible inevitable. That leads to the second step, action. But it's not just random or frantic action, it's inspired action. It's aligning your daily choices with the vision you carry. Perhaps that means waking up a little earlier to brainstorm your passion project. Maybe it's spending your lunch hour watching a tutorial on a new skill you sense is critical for your divine calling. Or it could be reaching out to someone who's already walking the path you see in your dreams. The point is, you're no longer just drifting through days, hoping something changes. You become a participant in your own breakthrough, taking consistent steps that affirm, yes, I truly believe I no longer need to stay locked in a job that doesn't serve my destiny. In the book of James, we're reminded that faith without works is dead. This doesn't mean you have to strive or hustle in your own strength alone. Rather, it means you partner with the supernatural by doing what is within your power. You're not waiting for the sky to crack open and drop a fully formed empire into your lap. You're saying, "I'm ready, Lord, lead me, and I will follow." And as you move, you'll see his guiding hand orchestrating every detail. Picture this. You're standing at a vast ocean shore, representing all the abundance heaven has in store for you. If you approach the shore with a tiny cup, you'll only take back a cupful of water. But if you build up your capacity through learning, through building relationships, through preparing your mind, you'll come with a larger vessel. And each time you come to the water, you'll draw out more. That ocean, that limitless resource, has always been there. It's your readiness that determines how much you receive. Consider how Noah built the ark long before it ever rained. He didn't do it under clear skies because he was naive or delusional. He did it in obedience to a higher call, to a vision that others could not comprehend. But when the rain finally fell, Noah was prepared, and the ark became a refuge. Let that be a metaphor for your own preparation. You might be building something now, an idea, a brand, a project that others can't see the purpose of. They may scoff at you, question your logic, or urge you to return to a more conventional path. But if your heart is stirred by a divine vision, obedience is your strongest weapon against doubt. Look at the world around you. The greatest innovations, the most transformative movements were sparked by individuals who refused to confine themselves to what society deems normal. They dared to dream beyond the horizon of tradition, and in doing so they shaped history. You, chosen one, carry that same spark. You have the power to look at what is and imagine what could be. Then step forward in faith to make it real. Yes, stepping into a life without a conventional job may feel risky, but remember, risk is often the currency of reward. David stepped onto the battlefield to face Goliath with only a sling and 5 stones. The world saw risk. David saw destiny. The same is true for you. You might feel like you're facing a giant of circumstances, maybe lack of finances, lack of support, or fear of the unknown. But if you trust the divine gifts inside you and the unstoppable force backing you up, that giant will fall. For if God is for you, who can stand against you? Imagine the day you look at your bank account, your schedule, and your surroundings, and realize how far you've come. Not because you took the safe route, but because you dared to believe that you serve a limitless God who has endowed you with limitless potential. Feel the gratitude that wells up in that moment. Let that gratitude fuel you even now, because gratitude is a multiplier of blessings. When you're thankful for the small steps and small wins, the doors open wider for bigger victories. That is why I urge you to celebrate every incremental move, finishing a chapter in a book that teaches you a skill, reaching out to someone who might become a mentor, or creating a simple plan for your future vision. With each action, with each prayer, with each expression of thanks, you are expanding your capacity to receive. And in time you look back and see the tapestry of miracles woven together, forming a masterpiece you never thought possible. But remember, dear one, this is not a journey meant to be walked alone. Yes, your calling is personal, but you will find greater strength and perseverance when you connect with others who share the hunger for divine destiny. The disciples in the early church gathered together, breaking bread and encouraging one another daily. They pooled resources, they shared burdens, and they celebrated triumphs. Likewise, surround yourself with people who speak life, who believe in big dreams, who see the potential in you that you sometimes forget. Their support will embolden you during rough patches, and your victories will inspire them. It becomes a beautiful cycle of collective growth and empowerment. If you haven't yet done so, type 777 in the comments to seal this proclamation over your life. This act might seem simple, but it's powerful. It's like planting a flag in the spiritual realm, declaring, "I am ready for the fullness of this promise." And when you do it with genuine faith, you'll sense a shift in your own consciousness. It's as though you've pressed go on the next chapter of your story, and the pages begin to unfold with miraculous synchronicities. Now, close your eyes, if only for a second. Visualize the chains of limiting beliefs. I need a job to survive. I have no other options. I'm not qualified. Crumbling at your feet. Watch them turn to dust, blown away by the gentle wind of renewed hope. In their place, watch new seeds being planted in the soil of your heart, seeds named creativity, opportunity, unexpected favor, supernatural provision, and undeniable purpose. You'll water these seeds with consistent faith and purposeful action, and they will sprout into a garden of abundance that not only sustains you, but also blesses countless others. Yes, the vision is grand, and the journey may seem long, but every marathon begins with a single step, and every transformation starts with a single choice. Let this be your single choice, to believe that God's plan for your life is too big to be limited by a paycheck. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us to trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. That means you can't rely solely on logic to guide you. Logic would have told Peter to stay in the boat. Faith tells you to step out when the call is clear. Even if you don't see the full picture, your spirit knows the way. The more you quiet the noise of external expectations, the clearer the divine whisper becomes. It might show up as a restless feeling that nudges you away from complacency, or perhaps you'll feel sudden peace at the thought of pursuing a daring new venture. Pay attention to these signals. They are the steering currents of your destiny. Of course, the enemy of your soul would love to keep you bound by fear and self-doubt. He will whisper lies such as, "You're going to fail," "You'll end up losing everything," or "Who are you to think you can do this?" The antidote is to cling to the truth of who you are and who God is. You are a beloved child of the Most High, imbued with talents, ideas, and resilience. God is the one who provides manna in the wilderness, who causes water to gush out of a rock, who multiplies loaves and fish for the hungry crowd. If He can do all that, how much more will He sustain you when you step into the purpose He has designed for your life? You see, the day you decide that a job is just one potential avenue of provision, but by no means the only one, is the day you break free. It's the day your mind expands to notice multiple streams of income, creative solutions, and brand new collaborations that have been around you all along, but went unnoticed because your vision was locked onto traditional employment. This shift is not about disrespecting those who work regular jobs. Rather, it's about realizing that not everyone is called to remain in that framework forever. Some are called to pioneer, to create, to innovate, to lead in extraordinary ways. Think of Lydia in the Bible, a seller of purple cloth. She was an entrepreneur, a woman of commerce, and yet a devoted follower of God. Through her business, she prospered, and her home became a place where the gospel was shared. Her job wasn't just a mundane grind, it was an extension of her calling. In the same way, whatever enterprise or creative pursuit you launch, if done in obedience and with the right heart, can become an instrument of divine blessing for yourself and others. Let's not ignore practicality. Yes, you may need to plan financially before you leave a job. You may need to educate yourself, develop strategies, and set aside savings. But do all these things with faith, not fear. You're not stalling out of terror, you're preparing with wisdom. There's a vast difference between being cautious and being paralyzed. When your preparation is fueled by faith, it moves you forward. When it's fueled by fear, it keeps you stuck. Choose faith every time. And in your journey, remain open to miracles. There are opportunities, business ideas, and partnerships that defy human explanation. people will cross your path who hold a key piece of the puzzle you need. You'll have moments of sudden clarity where you see a gap in the market or a unique way to solve a problem that no one else has noticed. Embrace these moments. They are gifts from above, revealing to you the blueprint that leads to your financial liberty. But remember, never let wealth become the ultimate goal. True riches are found in relationships, fulfillment, and alignment with your divine identity. Money is just a tool, a resource that reflects the value you bring and the blessings you steward. So use it wisely to invest in people, to uplift communities, and to further your God-given mission. When you keep your heart pure in this, money flows more freely because it's not blocked by greed or idolatry. Instead, it's guided by love and purpose, which multiplies its impact in ways that serve the greater good. This is the essence of living free from the shackles of a job you've outgrown. It's embracing a calling so profound that it shapes the very fabric of your existence. It's the knowledge that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, as Psalm 24:01 states, and therefore you are never truly without options. Your Heavenly Father owns it all, and He is more than able to redirect resources toward you when you align with His will. Some people reading or hearing this might think, "I've heard messages like this before, but nothing has changed." If that's you, consider this. Have you genuinely changed on the inside? Have you truly believed that it's possible for you, or have you held on to a hidden doubt that this promise is for others but not for you? Your inner belief system dictates the outcome. Now is the time to uproot doubt. Now is the moment to declare, "I am worthy of a life where my gifts shine brighter than any job description." Type 777 to seal this declaration once more, especially if you feel that your faith is rekindling right now. Allow yourself to dream again. In childhood, dreaming comes naturally, but as we grow older, the voices of caution, practicality, and fear can drown out that playful imagination. Yet, in the kingdom of God, faith often looks like childlike wonder, expecting the impossible and rejoicing in small miracles. That childlike faith is a key ingredient in calling forth blessings that your logical mind can't even fathom. Picture the scenario. You are waking up without an alarm that forces you to rush out the door. You take time to pray, meditate, or journal, aligning your soul before you begin the tasks of the day. With each activity, whether creating, strategizing, teaching, or mentoring, you feel an undeniable sense of purpose and passion. There's no draining sense of dread, no wishing for the weekend, because every day carries a piece of what you once only labeled dreams. The income flows not because you're chasing it, but because you're in your divine flow, and the world recognizes it. And let's talk about adversity. Yes, challenges will come. There may be months when business is slower or a project doesn't pan out as expected. Yet these moments aren't signals to quit. They're signposts directing you to refine, to learn, to grow. Each setback will cultivate deeper roots of resilience, making you more steadfast and unstoppable in your calling. Look at how a tree's roots push downward through rocky soil, seeking nourishment. The obstacle becomes the catalyst for stronger growth. So it will be with you. Each adversity is a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Throughout this entire journey, lean on the power of prayer. Prayer is not a ritual devoid of emotion. It is a dialogue, a lifeline connecting you to infinite wisdom. When you feel uncertain, pray for clarity. When you feel afraid, pray for courage. When you celebrate a win, pray in gratitude. Through prayer, you remain plugged into the ultimate source of your strength. This is how you maintain unwavering focus on the call that has brought you this far. Perhaps you've been waiting for a burning bush moment, something undeniably supernatural, but often divine direction comes in whispers rather than shouts. It might appear as a gentle prompting, a consistent theme showing up in your life, or a random conversation that sparks a vision in your heart. Stay attentive, look for patterns, look for repeated nudges. If you hear the same confirmation multiple times through different sources, pay attention. That's likely more than coincidence. Yes, chosen one, you stand at the edge of greatness. Reflect on how far you've come. Even the obstacles you overcame in the past were preparing you for this next leap of faith. The resilience you built, the lessons you learned, the people you met, all of them are the puzzle pieces forming a grand picture of purpose. You might not see the entire masterpiece yet, but trust that each new day places another piece into position. Now, I sense that this message has awakened something deep within you, a stirring that won't easily be put back to sleep. That stirring is the voice of destiny, reminding you it's time to act. Will you heed the call, or will you remain in the comfort zone of familiarity? The choice is yours, and it's a choice you'll revisit daily. But once your heart has tasted the freedom that awaits you, the pull toward your calling becomes nearly irresistible. Take a moment now to anchor these truths. Speak out loud if you can. I am chosen for more than a job. I am designed for purpose. I step into divine provision, trusting that the one who called me is faithful to complete the work he started in me. Feel those words wrap around your spirit like a cloak of empowerment. Let them sink in until they become more real to you than any doubt or fear. And if you're wondering how to keep this fire burning, stay connected to messages like this. Surround yourself with content that fuels your faith, not your fears. Choose to feed your spirit with words of life rather than the negativity that can come from mainstream media or skeptical voices. This is not about burying your head in the sand. It's about curating an atmosphere of belief and possibility. As you go forward, remember that every triumph you experience will become a testimony for someone else who's searching for their breakthrough. Your life will become living proof that it is indeed possible to transcend the limitations of a job-centered mindset. You will shine as a lighthouse for others who feel lost in the storm of uncertainty, guiding them to the safer shores of faith-led living.